Lalita and the 10 Days That Changed Everything 1. Arrival. The train from Rostov pulled into Gelendzhik early in the morning, and the city was still stretching and yawning, white houses lifting their shutters, coffee shops chasing away the night with the smell of fresh croissants, the sea whispering lazily as it rolled soft ribbons of foam ashore. Lalita stepped onto the platform with a small suitcase and smiled. It was her first vacation in 3 years, and for the first time, without a to-do list. Well, Gelendzhik, let's get acquainted, she said to herself, putting on sunglasses despite the cloudy lace above the bay. She just wanted to walk past cypresses to the promenade as smooth as a ship's deck, past bicycles more numerous than seagulls, past statues and signs promising the most Black Sea shisha. She stopped by the rail, leaned her shoulder, peered into the water, and noticed a guy picking at a crust of shells with his foot while trying to thread film into an old camera. Is it going to break from the way you are staring at it? She asked. He looked up. His eyes had the same unspoken quality as the morning city. It lives off the gaze, he said. Silence is what breaks it. Lalita, she offered her hand. Gleb. That's how they met, brief as a shutter click. 2. A city that listens. Gleb showed Lalita a Gelendzhik you won't find on postcards. Not the tourist-trodden promenade, but narrow stairways between houses where balconies reach for each other like boats to a pier. They climb to a viewpoint by Tolstoy Cape, where pines hold stars in their crowns even by day. Gleb shot photos. Lalita asked questions. Are you a photographer? She asked. I used to be. He shrugged. Now I am more a seller of batteries in a kiosk on Primorskaya. Sounds like life in a soft case. Sounds like stability. Lalita smirked. She knew about soft cases. She had a career, KPIs, and a calendar that pinged every hour. That's exactly why she was here, to learn not to look at the screen every 5 minutes. They went down to the water. The wave tops turned bottle green. Gleb told her how, as a child, he'd sit on the pier with his father, who taught him to catch light the way you catch fish, patiently, without fuss. Dad left suddenly. I was left with a camera and depths. And with the sense that pictures are a luxury. And living isn't? She asked gently. He was quiet. 3. Blue nails. On the third day they headed to the blue abyss. The road ran through a forest scented with warm resin. The wine led them to the cliff, and the sea below felt like a vast breath. You know, said Lalita, we sometimes think the past is a concrete slab. More often it's sand. We're just afraid to touch it with our fingers. Did you come here to give lectures? Gleb smirked. I came here to remember that I, too, know how to be silent. She picked a blue nail out of the grass, one of those hammered into pines for ropes. See? Even the nails are blue here. No matter how much the city pretends to be calm, it still wants to be the sea. For the first time in days, Gleb laughed. His laughter sounded like a bird's trill. All right, Professor of Silence, he said. Teach me not to be afraid. Deal. 4. The staircase. They disassembled his shutter and cleaned lenses on the balcony of the Frigate Hotel, which Lalita reached by a stairwell smelling of ink and jam. A storm rattled outside, every lightning flash washing the room in white like a strobe. What are you afraid to admit to yourself? She asked. That after a shot, it's empty. Like I've lived someone else's minute, well, honestly, but skipped my own. What if the shot is your now, not someone else? What if I don't know how to make that now worth much? Lalita pulled out a notebook. Then let's count. She drew arrows. You work in a kiosk 8 hours, shoot on weekends. How much is your frame worth? 500 rubles, if it sells. Sometimes 1500, if it's my cousin's wedding. How much is your fear worth? He went silent. In his eyes the concrete slab rose again. Lalita smiled and turned the page. Write a 10-day dream schedule. One that scares you with your own boldness. No KPIs, no should, only want. What if I have nothing to write? Then walk and shoot. That will be your want, too. 5. 3 mornings they met. The first morning by the lighthouse. The city woke like a jellyfish, transparent and soft. Gleb shot fishermen whose palms smelled of salt, and a little girl trying to catch a seagull with the shadow of her hand. I'd forgotten this, he whispered. When a frame opens by itself, like a seashell. They spent the second morning on the old trolleybus to Kabardinka. Lalita sat by the window, watching vineyards and the mountain shadows slinking across the road like cats. You do realize this trip isn't about Gelendzhik, right? Gleb said. Of course. It's about you. And about you? For me, it's remembering I can start over. The third morning, on the cable car to Safari Park. They rose, and the bay unfurled beneath them, the city a white horseshoe in the sea's palm. It's too beautiful, Gleb said. Like I hit overdue saturation. Beauty isn't to blame that we forgot how to rejoice in it. He photographed Lalita as she lifted her head to the sky. Then he was quiet for a long time, flipping through the frames. Your eyes are like a city after rain, he said. Say it louder, she smiled. Your eyes are like a city after rain. Seagulls stirred, the mountains echoed back. 6. Changing the film on the fifth day, in a little courtyard, they stumbled on a poster, exhibition of young photographers. Submissions close tomorrow. Gleb shrugged, uneasy. I am not young, he said. I am tired. And what work? The film's just been developed. If you have a tomorrow, you are young, said Lalita. Let's print. They argued at the print kiosk. Gleb wanted to clean this up and boost the contrast. Lalita asked to leave the grain, the slightly blurred horizon line, leave the living parts, she urged. Step back and let the air breathe. You want people to think I shoot crooked? I want people to see you breathing. He stared at her for a long time, then nodded. 7. The letter that evening, Lalita got an email from her boss. We need you to connect. Crisis. Urgent. She read it over and over as if peering into someone else's pain. Then she typed a short reply, I'll be available in 10 days. If it's the end of the world, call other gods. Gleb saw her fingers trembling. That was brave, he said. That was right. She took a deep breath. See, living isn't denying yourself fear. It's holding its hand and walking on. Noted, he whispered. In the notebook and on film. 8. The exhibition. The hall was small, smelling of acrylic and coffee. The walls bore images, perfect sunrises, symmetrical beaches, cookie-cutter smiles. And a few of Gleb's photographs, noisy, breathing, with a sky in which the sky finally lived. The cable car shot where Lalita looks up became central. You sure? She asked as he pinned the label. Sure. He paused. Can I change the title? From what to what? It was Woman on a Cable Car. This shot is more about what you did to me. Let it be, teaching me to look. Lalita blushed and glanced at the sea in the window frame. People approached, lingered, smiled. One woman cried quietly by the fisherman photo. Your photographs feel like they are from the inside, she told Gleb. Not through glass. For the first time in a long while, Gleb straightened his shoulders. Thank you, he said. I just finally dared to be honest. 9. A night without. Later after the exhibition they went to the pier. The wind carried music from somewhere, maybe a calf, maybe a nearby yard. The moon silvered the water, and the city looked like a letter written in a broad, confident hand. I thought you'd change my vacation, Gleb said, but you changed my story. No. You did. I just held the door. To where? To the room you'd already been in, but were afraid to stay. He looked at her intently, the way you look through a viewfinder. Can I say the obvious? Say it. I don't want your vacation to end. My vacation isn't a place, Gleb. It's a way of being with myself. And now you know it, too. He took her hand. They were silent, and in that silence there were more words than in any speech. 10. The morning of the 10th day they returned to the water. The waves squared their shoulders, the racing sun gnawed at the edges of the clouds. Lalita's suitcase stood nearby, a period at the end of a sentence still unfinished. I am going to stay another week, Gleb said. I'll shoot, and he hesitated. And I'll message the kiosk that I am quitting. Let that be my risk. My resolve. And your freedom, said Lalita. Just remember, freedom isn't the absence of work. It's the ability to choose. Then I choose work where it's quiet inside me. And loud when it needs to be, she winked. And you? Lalita looked to the distant line of the horizon. I'll go home. But now I have you, somewhere between frames. And I have me. They hugged. It grew warmer. Someone on the promenade played a very slow, almost conversational saxophone melody. Will you write? He asked. I'll call. When it's not have to, but want to. And if I want to very often? Then we'll figure out how to live with that. She left lightly, like a wave receding, leaving a thin white line on the sand. 11. Postscript. A month later, Gleb sent her a link, his first solo exhibition. The title, 10 Days. The curator's note read, this series is about a person who chose truth over comfort. About a city that knows how to listen. And about a woman who stood in the doorway and held the light. Lalita read it on a commuter train, by the window where her smile reflected back. Her phone buzzed, a message from her boss, we need you. Urgent. Big project. She typed her reply, I am in. Only on our terms, and suddenly realized she was talking to herself, not to him. She closed her eyes and heard Gelendzhik, the murmur of pines, the click of a shutter, laughter by the blue abyss. And she felt, no concrete slabs. Only sand. And fingers no longer afraid to touch it. And the sea, always near even when unseen. Because the sea is how you finally learn to breathe.